When the morning mist in Königsberg had not yet dispersed, a thin old man was walking at a steady pace along the cobblestone road. His steps were as precise as a clock, and the townspeople would even set their time according to his figure. This was Immanuel Kant, one of the greatest philosophers of the 18th century. He never left his hometown in his life, yet measured the boundaries of human reason with profound thoughts. His works are obscure and difficult, yet laid an unshakable foundation for modern philosophy. From the starry sky above to the moral law within, Kant used philosophical language to inquire about the meaning of existence for humanity, guiding the course of reason and faith. Born in 1724 in Königsberg, East Prussia, now Kaliningrad, Russia, Kant came from an ordinary saddlemaker's family. His life was almost closely linked to this city. Like a fixed track, yet he drew a brilliant trajectory in the universe of thought. Kant spent his childhood in a strict religious atmosphere. His parents were devout Protestants, and this family environment cultivated his rigorous and self-disciplined character, also making him have initial thoughts on the relationship between morality and faith. At the age of 16, he entered the University of Königsberg to study, majoring in natural science and philosophy, deeply influenced by Newtonian physics and the Wolffian philosophical system. After graduation, he worked as a tutor, an experience that allowed him to contact people of different classes and enrich his understanding of human nature. At the age of 30, Kant returned to the University of Königsberg to teach, working as an adjunct lecturer to a professor for 40 years. His classes never followed the text mechanically, but encouraged students to think independently, using clear logic to dismantle complex problems, thus being deeply loved by students. In addition to teaching, Kant's life was simple to the point of rigidity. Getting up at 5 a.m. every day, writing, teaching, walking, reading, year after year. This regular life allowed him to have enough energy to focus on philosophical thinking, and also made Kant's walk a unique scenery in Königsberg. Kant's thought matured relatively late. He did not publish Critique of Pure Reason until he was 57, a work that took him 12 years of painstaking effort, and shocked the philosophical world once published. Later, he successively published Critique of Practical Reason and Critique of Judgment, forming the three critique system, completing a subversive innovation in the field of philosophy. In 1804, Kant died in Königsberg, and his last words before his death were, "It is good." These simple three words seem to be a summary of his life's philosophical thinking. Kant's philosophical thought is like a precision clock, composed of multiple interlocking gears, among which the three critiques are the core gears, respectively exploring the fundamental issues in the fields of epistemology, ethics, and aesthetics. Critique of Pure Reason is known as the Copernican revolution in philosophy, which subverted traditional epistemology. Kant proposed that human knowledge does not come entirely from experience, but is composed of innate forms of cognition and a posteriori empirical materials. Just like we see the world through colored glasses, the color of the glasses innate forms determines how we understand the world, while the appearance of the world itself, thing in itself, is something we can never fully know. In this way, he delimited the boundaries for human reason. Reason can understand the phenomenal world, but cannot touch the transcendent thing in itself, which avoids the abuse of reason by traditional metaphysics. Critique of Practical Reason focuses on moral philosophy. Kant believed that the foundation of morality is not utility or emotion, but the categorical, imperative, and unconditional moral law. That is, act only according to that maxim, by which you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. For example, lying cannot become a universal law, because if everyone lies, society will not function. He also put forward that human beings are ends in themselves, opposing the use of human beings as means, and this idea has become an important source of modern human rights theory. In his view, the motivation of moral behavior comes from the good will, that is, acting out of duty rather than pursuing interests. Critique of Judgment connects the previous two works, exploring aesthetics and teleology. Kant believed that aesthetic judgment has purposiveness without purpose. For example, when we appreciate a flower, it is not because it is useful, but because its form itself brings pleasure, and this pleasure is universally communicable. In terms of teleology, he thought that the seemingly purposeful order of nature is actually endowed by human reason to understand nature, which reconciles the contradiction between mechanism and teleology. These three critiques together constitute Kant's philosophical system: using reason to delimit knowledge, using morality to leave space for faith, and using aesthetics to connect nature and freedom, forming a complete ideological closed loop. Kant's works are like profound mines, each containing rich ideological treasures. In addition to the three critiques, there are many other influential works. Prolegomena, To Any Future Metaphysics, is a popular version of Critique of Pure Reason. Kant expounded his epistemological thoughts in simpler language, answered readers' doubts about Critique of Pure Reason, and enabled more people to understand his philosophical system. This work is like a key opening the door to Kantian philosophy for ordinary readers. Groundwork for the Metaphysics of Morals is a preliminary preparation for Critique of Practical Reason. It focuses more on the issues of moral law and goodwill, putting forward three formulations of the categorical imperative, laying the foundation for Kant's ethics. The discussion on the relationship between morality and happiness in the book still triggers people's thinking about a good life. Perpetual Peace, a philosophical sketch, is an important work by Kant in the field of political philosophy. In this book, he put forward 12 maxims for achieving perpetual peace, including republican government, free trade, international alliance, and other ideas. Although these ideas seemed utopian at that time, they provided important inspiration for the development of modern international relations and international law, and the establishment of the United Nations is to some extent a response to Kant's ideal. Kant's works are known for being obscure and difficult, with long and complex sentences full of professional terms. But this does not affect the penetration of his thoughts at all. As the philosopher Schopenhauer said, Kant's works are monuments of human wisdom, which require us to climb patiently to appreciate the scenery at the top.